Hi, my name is Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstars. So as you guys know, this is where we interview people that are just crushing it in this business, and we show you the inside scoop into how new and really mostly new multifamily investors are just creating massive success in their businesses and in their lives. And as always, I've got my co-host, who's the director of our Massive Action Team, our mentorship program, our Warrior Group, Mark Nagy on.
Yeah, happy to be here, Rod. Yeah, I was going to say that. It's cool to have another guest, another under 1 year story. So excited to hear some more good stuff.
Right. So listen, we've got Max Moala on today. He's a warrior. He's a dad. He's got 3 kids under 3 years old. Holy cow. I didn't even pick up on that when I was looking at the bio. Under 3 years old. He is, in January of this year, of 2022, rather, quit his job, sold his home, moved to Dallas. So I remember you telling me this now that I'm looking at this. And now, within 6 months, you were a general partner in $7 million in assets. And you've got, another, 147 doors that you're negotiating right now. So, and those deals are done with Warriors, which is fantastic. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, bud. So why don't you, do a little better job of introducing yourself, who you are, where you came from, why real estate, why multifamily, and then we'll just take it from there.
Yeah. So Max Moala, I actually was born and raised, grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. Mm-hmm. I went to school for accounting, but knew I never wanted to be an accountant. It was not something for me, but I wanted to understand numbers. I come from a very entrepreneurial background with my family. My parents got into real estate where they had sold the business, decided to go into real estate. And before the recession, they were probably done about 100 flips and had quite a few rentals. The recession happened to everything. And so, but I was able to see the lifestyle. I was still kind of in high school, just graduating, going to college, where I played football in college. But I was able to see that lifestyle, and I knew I always wanted to do real estate. And it's just been in the back of my mind. But because I also saw the pain that came from losing everything, which kind of held me back for so many years, especially when I went to college and I wanted to do business, but I didn't know quite well. But it was always like, do real estate. But
yeah. So they were doing real estate before the crash, but then you saw them go through the crash, and like me, they had their asses handed to them, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was a tough moment. Even when I bring up real estate now, I see the excitement in my parents, but also see like the pain. It's still an open scar for them. Uh-huh. And especially what's going on right now, the economy, it's just like some PTSD.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny you say that, because I'm actually feeling some of that too. And I teach this shit not to do that, but I'm like, oh God, I tighten up and stuff, and I'm much more proactive. So I totally resonate with that. Sorry I interrupted. Please continue.
Yeah, no, but that's a big reason why I went into multifamily, was because I kind of saw how there's the Sharpe ratio. It's resistant, quick. It's very recession resilient for multifamily. And so when I had learned about multifamily only a few years ago, I was like, man, I want to learn this and I want to do this, but I don't know how. Right. And I'm grateful that I found you and found the coaching program and the mentorship. Right. And I think it's gonna be very, very monumental and instrumental to like my future success and career, and my future kids and grandkids will thank you forever.
Yeah. Well, they'll thank you, brother. But thank you for that. But that's wow. 3 kids under 3. So I got a question. How do you? Well, you're not doing another job though. So you quit. You just said, screw it, I'm going to do this. Yeah, which, by the way, those of you listening, I do not recommend. Okay.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend. But I've always been like a high performer in my previous companies and job, and I was like, you know what, I'm willing to bet on myself. I saw how much money I was bringing in my past employers, and I was like, man, I could be doing this for myself,
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. So, and guys, listen, I get this all the time. Should I quit my job and do this full bore? And my answer is always no, unless unless you've got other income coming in or you have a hell of a nest egg, so that you don't have financial fear. Because if you're worried about when the next check's coming in, you're going to get paralyzed. Fear paralyzes. And so super important, especially in what's coming, that you maintain your income as much as you can, frankly, because you want to be in as much cash as possible to capitalize, the fact that everything's going on sale. So here's a question. How do you make sure that you spend time with the people that matter most in your life while you're building this dream of yours? Because you're an entrepreneur. You remind me of me when I was your age. So how do you stay balanced?
That's a great question. I think that's going to be one of my biggest struggles all the time, because it's funny. It's like they're the reason why I'm doing this, and then I spend so time far away from them. Luckily, I have a wife that is very, very she's my rock. And she told me one time, it's like, Max, I have no doubt you're going to be successful, that you're going to have all this money. But what makes you think that we're going to want all your money when the kids are grown, when they're not going to have a relationship with you? And it made me really think, I'm like, yeah, that's right. And so what my goal is in the morning, I take care of the kids. I give them breakfast. I spend time with them. We'll read in the morning. I'm really working on putting my phone on do not disturb. And then afternoon, when I get off at 5, from 5 to about 8, my phone's on do not disturb. I feed dinner, bath time, spend some time with the wife, and then I go back to work and work on underwriting and looking at deals and different things.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So you've segmented your life. Now I'm going to tell you, and you've heard me say this because you've been through my boot camps, and my weekly planning process is really helpful for this, because, it helps you block out time for the people that matter the most. My greatest regret in life was, coming home to my $8 million mansion on the beach and totally focused on success. My greatest regret was I'd come home and I'd play with my kids every night, but I wasn't present. I was distracted. Yeah. And so, I push this a lot in the Warrior program. I take this very, very seriously. And that planning process really helps with that. But I'm glad to hear, you're implementing, and doing that. Just throw that freaking phone in the drawer when you're with especially kids under 3 years old, man. Don't have regret. Okay. Love it. Talk about any setbacks. Everybody thinks it's just a straight line to success. Talk about seminars or if any, in the single family or the multifamily space that you've encountered and the lesson you learned.
Yeah. So the biggest seminar, and which has caused me to be fairly conservative with any type of looking at investments, is the lesson that I saw my parents going through when they had lost everything, going to the single family space. I still have a couple of single family rentals, but that's not where a majority of my portfolio will be, just for diversity reasons. And then also, actually, so I did the first deal with Warriors, but there was another deal we did direct to seller that we had found. And that was a lot of learning moments. Fortunately, we still closed, but there was a lot of learning curves that we still had to go through to kind of learn. I won't say that there were learning moments that we were able to get better. Actually, in the first time I ever attempted to raise capital, I needed 1.7 million for 80 units. And I was so confident when my friend had brought this. I was like, yeah, I got this. I could do it. Ended up not raising a single penny. Wow. And so, and I learned a lot from that, and you learn a lot from your losses, from your failures. And I was able to kind of go back and like, why didn't I raise that money? What was the point? And I kind of learned, and thank goodness, I found you because you gave a lot of great pointers on like having a case study that you could use, and
like a sample deal example.
Exactly.
And by the way, we give those out at my boot camp, by the way. So, for those of you that struggle with, communication, you can just print this or emulate it and just hand it to somebody that you want to try to see if they can raise money from it. Just say, hey, this is the kind of stuff we look for, take a look at it. And then, if it interests you, I'll let you know when we find one, that along these lines. And that's really helpful. Okay. So that helped you. Good.
Yeah. And that was a big seminar. And that was very helpful because it humbled me to want to learn to get better. And then the very next time when a deal came across, hey, we need some funds, we need to close very quickly. I had already, at least some of these individuals and family and friends knew that I was in multifamily, that I was serious, and was able to get it funded for my first GP spot within
good job. Yeah, good job. One thing I want to give Mark a chance to talk here, but one other question or one comment I want to make is I love the way you described I call them seminars. You call them learning something. And I really like that because words are powerful. What did you call it?
Learning opportunities.
Learning opportunities. I love that, man, because your brain is so powerful, and how you describe something that happens to you is super important. Like, you could say, like I could say in 2008, I got destroyed, I got decimated, or I could say, I had a learning opportunity, and it's, or a seminar, and I use seminar, but I even like learning opportunity better. So I just want to salute you for that, brother. That is really powerful phraseology that you're adopting. So I love that.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about that deal because I saw you posted one in the Facebook group, and I don't know if this is the same deal, but you mentioned you had raised money on your first GP deal, but the one after that had felt more real, right? Because you said you were more involved on that, right? And you did a bunch of different steps. Walk us through what was that step-by-step of everything you did kind of from start to finish to make that second deal happen?
Yeah. So just so everyone's aware, when you do a deal in Rod's a Warrior, you get the sword. And I saw everyone getting the sword, and I was like, I'm motivated. I want to get me a sword. And that's when you get your deal. And my first deal, I felt like I didn't do very much work because I just had to make a couple phone calls, got the money funded. I'm like, that was too easy. That's not Warrior worthy. Like, I want to put more forward, more work. And so it's funny. The deal was sent to some of my partners and I about this portfolio, and we had flown over there, do some due diligence. We were walking all the units, looking at all the financials, and just realized this deal's not going to work. But while we were there, we started to just kind of driving for dollars, and we saw a unit, saw some apartment complex there. Say, man, who's the owner of this? Who's the owner of this thing? We skip traced them right there and there. Partners called him at almost nearly midnight on Tuesday night. Surprisingly enough, he answers the phone. And we said, hey, we're leaving we're leaving Thursday morning. Can we meet with you tomorrow morning? He said, yeah, come meet. So we sat down, we met with him, built a relationship, and lucky enough.
Go big or go home, brother.
Oh, yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Go big or go home. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Big cojones. Love it. By the way, he mentioned the sword, guys. So in our warrior program, we have what's called the warrior of the sword. And when you get your first deal as a warrior, you get this awesome freaking realistic. I mean, it's a sword. Okay. You could kill somebody with the thing, but it's really cool. And that's what he was referencing. I just wanted to mention that. But that's awesome. And that just speaks to, taking massive freaking action. That's my catchphrase, take massive freaking action. And you just embodied it. I love that. So let me ask you this. What is your definition of success, Max? What is success going to look like to you?
Man, that is a great question. To me, success really is, my thing is I love to help people, to just be able to give. And I feel like everything that I've been given, I've been blessed with, is given to me from God. And I feel like he gives it me so I can be a help me or help other people. So my success is, one, I can take care of my family. I can be present. I love spending time with my extended family as well. They're just as close to my inner circle. Where our family is happy, where we don't have to really stress about our taking care of our needs, but we also have the ability to bless the lives of others. And so it's just having those things where there's really no price tag for experiences that we really have to think about looking at our wallets for. So that would be my
great freaking answer, brother. Great. And you're going to be so freaking successful. And here's why. Let me tell you why I know you're going to be so successful, because, all of our super successful warriors give back in some fashion. And this really became obvious when we had our Hall of Fame at my Denver boot camp. By the way, looking like we're going to have a live boot camp in September. Just nobody knows that. That's brand new news. But in Orlando. But at our Denver boot camp, we did a Hall of Fame where we picked 10 warriors. It was really hard because all of our warriors are fantastic, but we picked 10
amazing group.
Just that were exemplary. And we did a little slide for each one of them. We asked them some questions. And every single one of them does something to make the world a better place. I mean, one dealing with sexual trafficking, building schools in India, veterans suicide money for that, money for veterans homelessness, and on and on and on. It was like, holy crap, all 10 of these people do something to make the world a better place. I'm like, that's a freaking clue. Right. So I love the way that you answered the question that way. So
that was a big reason why I ended up joining with your program. I was looking at a few others at the same time. And I was like, man, I want to be involved with a bunch of go-givers, And so that was a big portion of why.
Well, thank you, brother. And we take that very seriously. It's not just about the financial success. It's about how do we leave our mark and make things better.
Exactly.
But by the way, guys, if you're interested in applying to our Warrior program, text the word crush to 72345 and we will freaking help you crush it in this business. Again, that's crush to 72345 to apply. And we'll check you out. You check us out. We don't take everybody, but even if you set up a call, you'll leave that call better than when you got on it, because we'll help you with some things. But anyway, yeah. So did you I think you had a follow-up.
Yeah.
Looking like you did. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know you were saying different things about, now you time block, and obviously you quit your job, which is really cool to see and going into this. But obviously a year ago when you first started, those things were differently, right? You have 3 kids, you had a job at that time, maybe you were in a different mindset. Did any of those things, whether your kids, your job, whatever, ever come up as maybe reasons to kind of hold you back from not taking action, or reservations? Did they ever pop up in your mind of like, hey, maybe I shouldn't take action on this because I have a job, because I have kids? Did ever those things pop into your mind, and how'd you kind of break through that?
Yeah, definitely. Because, so we've been fortunate enough where more my wife hadn't had to work. I was able to provide for us and take care of them. So when the time came, I'm most of my job was 100% commission. Here I came from a recruiting background, sales and recruiting. And it was very, very commission heavy. And I'm very focused, very, very, very focused. So a lot of my time and energy just came on how can I find the next candidate so I can make the next big commission check. Mm-hmm. And I started realizing it was very hard and difficult for myself, just me personally, to try to focus on something very 100% commission and try to build multifamily. So what made it hard to leave to do this for myself was because I was a sole provider. How was I going to pay the bills to still provide for my family? Because we had built this this living expense where we were kind of used to living. Thankfully, my wife isn't very, very, very high maintenance, and so
you had a standard of living you wanted to stay with, right? You don't want to go backwards. So I want to know how you mentally did that. I think that'll be really valuable. So because I didn't realize you were commission sales. So how did you push past the fear to quit that and move forward?
We're pretty religious and spiritual, so it was a lot of prayer, a lot of thought. It didn't happen overnight. When my wife said, "Max, are you gonna do real estate or not?" and I'm like, "I want to." She was okay. When do you want to do it? So as I knew at the second I had her support, I was ready to go, like right there at the gate. And I said, "Next month, can we move next month and let's go?" She's like, "Whoa, slow down, buddy. Like, hold your horses." She was like, we need to pack up. What are we doing?" So it was a lot of prayer and thought went into this.
That's a fantastic answer. I love the fact that your wife is so incredibly freaking supportive. And one of the things we do it in the boot camp is we talk about that, because if you don't have that supportive environment, we talk about ways to get it, okay? Because sometimes you'll have a spouse that's fearful, they're afraid of losing everything, and you've got a spouse that totally believes in you, which is fantastic. And I know you believe in yourself as well, and well you can go back and sell anything. So if God forbid it didn't work, you just go back to commission sales and right? Is that correct? I'm putting words in your mouth, but is that accurate?
Yeah, no, that's really what it is. And what's funny is that she was supportive, but it's not that we were willing to fail. Is that she was like, "Max, if we fail and have to go homeless and like we have family that would take us back in." Oh, and that's even better. If she was willing to go all that way, I'm like, "Oh, we're going, we're doing this, and I'm going to make it happen." When
someone like that is willing to say, I don't care if we live in and Tiffy has said this to me, I don't care if we're in a 1-bedroom apartment. If we're together, it doesn't freaking matter. Because we've been through some tough times. When we met, when she and I met, I didn't have a pot to piss in, so people are like, "Oh, she's after you for your money." I get that all the time. I get that crap hate online all the time because she's supermodel beautiful, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she's after you for money," and I'm like, "No, she married me when I didn't have nothing." So, but anyway, I love that answer, brother. I absolutely love that answer that she's that much behind you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I know you've talked about a bunch of different things. Obviously, you're good at communicating with people. You've talked about raising money, underwriting, etc. What do you think your kind of unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you, do these deals and become successful in this, short period of time under?
Good question. Yeah, good question.
Yeah, it's the ability to connect and build rapport. I think that's very big. This industry in this space is very relationship driven. And not looking at people just for numbers, but also just kind of building these long-term relationships. Multifamily is going to be a long-term hold. So you got to be able to work and have the ability. I think I'm very, very well-rounded where I can kind of play many different roles, and I know my place. I can take the lead if it's needed. I can sit back if it's needed. And I can see like, okay, it looks like this is falling short. I can help fill that in. And so I guess being well-rounded is a superpower, but it's also, I think it could be a detriment because I'm not very niched in on a specific thing. And so
really, I would think that communication, your ability to influence would be your superpower if that's from coming from the job that you were in. But would you,
yeah, that too.
I mean, you said you're studying underwriting at night. Are you just enhancing your underwriting ability, like shoring that up, or is that also a superpower?
Yeah. I'm fairly decent with numbers. I went to school for accounting.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You said that. Never mind. Yeah. So, wow, you are an anomaly. Honestly, I'm going to tell you. I didn't even pick up on that. I forgot that. Yeah. So you are absolutely analytical as well. So yeah, again, you're unusual. Typically, it's one or the other. And if you've got both, then good God, you've got everything you need for this business. But the beautiful thing about this business is it's a team sport, so you don't have to wear all the hats. So but yeah, no, that's you are absolutely perfect. But honestly, even somebody that's just analytical or someone that's just outgoing and great at influence can be super successful in this business. I see it every day. And that's the norm. Well, let me ask you this. In this journey so far, I know it hasn't been that lengthy, but in this journey so far, any aha moments, any like epiphanies were like, okay, now I get it kind of moments? Anything come to mind when I ask you that?
Yeah, it's the realization that this really is a team sport. There's so many moving parts to closing on a deal, and I didn't realize how many moving parts is needed. And yeah, you could probably do it. You could do it alone. One of my best friends does this all alone. He doesn't do syndications. And when I closed our first deal, the second one, and I saw all the things that had to go on, dealing with the SEC attorney, dealing with the banks, all the closing documents, just the whole business plan here. I'm like, holy cow. I'm so glad that I have some other members that I can just kind of lighten the burden, lighten the load. And so I realized that I can do this alone, but I don't want to, and why would
There's
I?
No reason to. There's no reason to.
Yeah. And so that's been the biggest aha moment.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I wanted to ask you one kind of curiosity question about that deal. You said you guys just called the owner out of nowhere because you saw it as you were driving by it. And just to kind of maybe give a little bit of a golden nugget here to the listeners, I know you mentioned being relationship driven is something that's helped you be successful. And I don't know if it was you that made the call or someone else on your team that made the call, but what was the strategy on that call? Was it just pick up the phone and say, hey, are you interested in selling? Would you like to sit down with us and build a relationship? What was the strategy?
No. Yeah, that one we wanted just to see if he'd be willing to meet. Obviously, we had the intentions of wanting to purchase this property. So if he wasn't willing to meet, I mean, we kind of created that sense of urgency, saying, "Listen, we're leaving the very next day. Is there any way we can sit down and meet? We're real estate investors. We're purchasing some property because we were." So it didn't really come off that we were wanting his property, but it was to build a relationship. So we kind of let him know who we were, and then it just turned out that the current deal that we were doing due diligence on didn't work out, and so he was the next best offer. Like, well, I know you have a deal, what can we do to make work out a deal for both of us, create a win-win situation?
Wow.
Win-win. Always look for a win-win. No, love it.
Yeah.
So listen, like you were over a year ago, we've got a lot of aspiring, real estate investors, people that know they should do something. And by God, if there's ever a time to learn this business, it's right freaking now, or whatever vehicle you're going to use in this coming contraction. I just saw literally today in the headline, Amazon's up their layoffs to 18,000 people now. The Fed has said it's going to be a severe recession. The rates are going to stay up for a long time, a lot longer than people think. And so there's going to be incredible opportunity. But speak to the people that are maybe in fear, maybe not sure they can do this. Maybe, they've got some limiting beliefs that they feel like they're going to struggle with this or whatever. Speak to the people that know they need to do something to improve their lives that haven't taken action yet. What would you say to them, Max?
A quick story. This is kind of going, because when you look at buying multifamily, it looks very overwhelming. It's like, man, I can never own this here. My daughter, 3 or 4-year-old daughter, we built all these blocks, and she was looking at the blocks and she wanted to build this whole palace. And she was sitting there not doing nothing. She was just looking at all the blocks. I'm like, what are you doing, Eleanor? And she goes, Daddy, can you help me? She was like, I can't do it. And I'm like, what can't you do? She's like, I can't build the palace, the castle. I said, it's easy. I go, look at it. Why don't you look for the first purple block and let's start there. And so when you look at the whole big picture, it can be very overwhelming. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So, and I've started to realize, being in the program here, that you don't have to do this alone. There's plenty of people in your program, in the community, that have experience that can help lighten that load here, whether that's finding deals, helping you raise capital. Many gold givers, which is a big reason why I joined the property, are people that are willing to help to see you succeed. And obviously you can't do anything if you're not doing anything. It needs some work, is always going to be required for success. Don't let the fear stop you, but use it as a motivator, as to stay. And that's been my big motivator. It's like, I'm scared that I won't be able to provide. And so I stay motivated, and I'll stay up late if I need to. I'll do whatever it takes. And so, don't let it stop you. Yeah. Don't let it stop you, and don't let it overwhelm you. There are plenty of resources out there.
Yeah, great answer, brother. Yeah, and you don't have to do it alone. Great answer. Well, listen, my friend, Happy New Year. We're going to kick absolute ass this year in 2023. Sorry if you got a child listening to this. But anyway, great to see you, my friend. By the way, we just booked our next Warrior Only event. It's March. It's a weekend in March. We're actually going to do a weekend this time. It'll be here in Sarasota again. If you can make it, would love to see you, buddy. But we do these Warrior Only events where we, do deep dives on underwriting and area analysis and things like that. And we really, the big thing is to allow our warriors to meet, because most of the, 130, 140,000 doors they own now that we know of were done between warriors. And so we just literally am signing the contract today. It'll be in March, which is quick. So,
awesome.
It's coming up in 2 months. Yeah. Anyways, great to see you, my friend. Mark, I'll see you later, brother. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text the word CRUSH to 72345, and we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out. Again, to apply, text CRUSH to 72345.